It looks like a concert. It sounds like a concert. But the music is just an accompaniment to life and death economic transactions. The concert goers are engaged in barter. They're swapping used CDs and records for life-saving medicines.
My mum passed away and left several medicines that other people might need, so I decided to donate them.
I don't have that much, but wanted to help. The situation isn't easy, so it's time to help each other to overcome the crisis.
This was the first event of its kind, and it's a reflection of the depth of Venezuela's economic catastrophe. As inflation ravages the country, barter has become a way of life. The sick mostly can't any longer find the pharmaceuticals they need on the shelves of Caracas chemists. The healthy donate old, unneeded medicines in exchange for albums. Jesus Rodriguez is one of the organisers.
Nowadays, it's important to acknowledge that Venezuela is suffering shortages of all sorts of medicines to treat all sorts of diseases. Today, I've seen how people who are able to donate medicines are happy to support this event.
You can find barter taking place everywhere in Venezuela, even at a hair salon in Caracas, where the customers no longer have the hundreds of banknotes they need for a cut and a straightening. So instead, hairdresser Leticia Puerto accepts payments in flour and pasta.
If people do not have the cash to pay and are unable to get money out of the bank, they just pay me with food. It's something we're all looking for and something we all need.
Need to get your brakes fixed? No cash is necessary because mechanic Henry Medina knows his customers don't have it. And even if they did, by the time he tried to use it, its value would have plunged. So give him some corn flour and he'll keep your motor running.
It's an exchange of work for food, and it's easy. We fix cars and customers pay for it with a kilo of rice, corn flour, sugar, pasta, or whatever food item we need.
This is not the reality that Hugo Chavez, Venezuela's revolutionary leader, promised. His weekly broadcast, Allo Presidente, was for years must-see TV in Venezuela. It was dominated by his charisma and his guarantee that the country could overcome inequality and maintain prosperity by expropriating the assets of the wealthy and of foreign investors and sticking to a strictly socialist path. His successor, Nicolas Maduro, who took over 5 years ago when Chavez died, has similarly stuck with dogma. He insists the country's problems are all the fault of imperialist enemies. Earlier this month, he sparked outrage during a visit to Turkey, where an Istanbul celebrity chef known as Salt Bey cooked him the city's finest steak. Remarkable images for a leader of a country that millions have fled. Elise Mora's husband is one of them. To find work, he moved 2,000 kilometers away to Peru. His remittances home total around 1,300 rand a month. It's enough to keep food on the table, but little else.
I work as an accountant here, but what I earn in a month is worth virtually nothing. My family is only alive because my husband sends us money from Peru.
She lives with her 2 children in one of Caracas's biggest slums. She is one of an estimated 4 million Venezuelans, about a quarter of the population, now relying on relatives overseas to sustain family at home.
The government is doing nothing to solve the crisis. It's hard to think that people have to leave the country, but it's an alternative that allows you to escape the hyperinflation. Living here is now unbearable.
Unbearable, she says, partly because Venezuela's government has ordered its embassies around the world, including this one here in Washington, to turn down offers of international assistance. Neighbouring countries have begged President Maduro to acknowledge the scale of the crisis and to allow for the creation of humanitarian corridors along which supplies of food and medicine could flow into the country from Colombia and Brazil. He won't do it, and he's even rejected offers of aid from the Catholic Church. And so Venezuelans do whatever they can to weather the situation, even if that means swapping unused, out-of-date medicines for a box of old CDs. This is Simon Marks reporting.